TV sticks and on ZingoTV on Chromecast and all smart TVs 2016 forward. Please remember to download the Barn Burner and ZingoTV apps in their respective app stores. Both are free on both iOS and Android devices. While you're using, please remember to rate and leave a comment so we know that you are enjoying them and getting the most out of your usage. So on this episode of PWHPA Over the Glass, I'm really pleased to be joined by Rebecca Johnston from the Calgary chapter of the PWHPA. Rebecca, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So I asked you on today in lieu of the Scotiabank sponsorship for the Calgary chapter. And I mean, again, a really great thing as we're seeing more sponsors step up for women's pro hockey. So initial reaction to yet another big title sponsor?
I mean, it's amazing. I think all the girls are definitely really excited, and PWHPA is thrilled about the sponsorship. It's so important to have these types of businesses, huge businesses like Scotiabank, to step on board and support women's hockey. It shows a lot, and we are very thankful because it is allowing us to train and keep playing at a high level. So it's, again, a huge announcement, and we were all really, really excited when we heard about it.
Now you guys have been already, training in Calgary ahead of the season, whenever that is set to begin, with details still up in the air. So let's talk about life in a pandemic. And right now you're in Sudbury, Ontario. So what has this been like for you the last 8 months now? I think between being home and in Calgary and training, and just making sure that you're prepared for whatever it is that comes with the season.
Yeah, it's definitely been stressful. It's obviously a different year than we are used to, and like a lot of people are used to. So we're just trying to make the best of it, and making sure we're staying in shape and working out, and still, at the best level we can be with, with regards to the situation, and not having access to everything all the time. So it has been unfortunate. Like, Calgary shut down again, all the rinks and gyms recently. So I think just really trying to, stick with the positives, trying to be creative with workouts and staying in shape is kind of like my mentality and how it's been the last 10 months for me. And just, skating when we're allowed to skate. And then if we can't, working on things off the ice and trying to make strides when we can with things that we have access to. So it has been challenging, but we have been able to skate for the most part. We have been able to work out in the gym, and so we're thankful for that.
So talking about those skates, in Toronto, things are a little bit challenging. There have been cohorted skates, lockdowns have been thrown around different parts of the province. So what does that look like in Calgary for your skates? I mean, it's great to hear that you're able to skate, but is this in cohorts as well, with the COVID-19 virus still kind of going around?
Yeah, we've been in cohorts. We've been, for the most part, been practicing as a team, and we were able to have some exhibition games against the UFC girls varsity team. So that was great. But then there was closures, so we aren't actually allowed to team practice anymore or anything. So if you want to get ice, you can skate with, well, it was a few, and now it's just one. And I think, well, actually, I don't even know anymore. It might be all the rinks are closed at the moment. So it is really challenging there. I think it's the worst in the country right now in terms of cases and everything. So it was unfortunate they had to shut down and make sure it's safe and we can get the numbers lower with cases every day. So it's challenging right now, for sure, but the last 4 months we have been able to practice as a team and play a few exhibition games here and there. So
Right, and now with the Calgary chapter, there are some new faces joining the roster, and so you're someone who's obviously been around pro hockey in the CWHL, and you're used to forming chemistry with new players, and that's just part of hockey. So, what has the experience been like with some of these new faces, and just finally getting to work and making it happen until you couldn't?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have these new players on board, and the talent is great, and to be able to practice with them has been great as well. So you just take what you can get right now, and try to see the positives and everything. And so everyone's been doing a really great job with trying to stay motivated. I think that's the biggest thing is, we don't really know what the future has in store for women's hockey and for the PWHPA, and when we can have these showcases. And So I think always just staying ready and having that motivation every day to work out, to skate and try to get better. And it is challenging sometimes, but I think trying to stick with the day to day and trying to improve each day is kind of like the mentality that we've had.
Right. So now that you're home in Sudbury, what is it that you were doing to keep yourself going? Are you able to hit the ice anywhere?
Yeah, so I'll be able to skate here with a small group or just by myself, either one, which is great because I'm fortunate for that. So I'm going to be here for a few weeks to a month. So I'll be training and working out here and getting on the ice as well. So it is a pretty good setup here, which is nice.
When you talk about your setup, a lot of people are usually really curious to know because there's, the obvious, physical workout before you hit the ice in the arena. But when you're at home and you're not within capacity of the arena, what does your, daily regimen / routine look like?
So like if I can't skate at all, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I just basically, so I'm in the gym, so I'll either go to the gym or at my parents' house where I'm staying. They have like a little mini gym with a bike and a little bit of free weights and stuff. So I'll try to do circuits and that kind of thing. But the gyms are open here, so I'm able to go to the gym and work out for a couple hours a day. Shoot some pucks, stick handle, are things that you can do, especially when the rinks are closed. I think can help improve your on ice skill without being on the ice. And then just mental work. I'll definitely watch video and analyze a little bit, trying to get in the mindset for whenever we do get to play a game. It's always good to be on the ball with that and making sure you're up to date and have that hockey mind still.
Absolutely. So let's look now at last year's Dream Gap Tour, the very first. And so you mentioned the work that you put in with, like, for example, video. Is that something that you're used to doing on, like, as a daily routine? Was that something you were doing last year ahead of Dream Gap Tour games?
Oh yeah, I always do video, especially when I have games. I'll go back and watch them, a few days later, and I think it's really important to analyze your play. And I think visually for me, I learn a lot being able to see it, and then I can mentally picture it in my head, and you learn so much from that. So I take that seriously for sure, and it's something that I'll do on a regular basis, especially if I have games to watch that I've played and just recently. So I'll watch that, but I also just like to watch the NHL, and I'll analyze that as well and try to learn from it in any way I can.
Right, I think that's a big helper, and we're going to touch on the NHL in just a little bit. But let's talk a little bit more about the inaugural Dream Gap Tour. This was a really unique thing, and it really garnered a lot of support. And a lot of this is attributed to Jana Hefford and her wonderful leadership. So before we get into the games itself, can you talk about a little bit about why Jana is such a significant figure, not only to yourself but to the women's game?
Oh, she's remarkable. I mean, she's one of my role models, is someone that I've looked up to, when I before I played on the national team, and then being able to play with her. I know I was on the line with her in 2014. It was just, she's someone that is a leader and is take the reins, and she was so competitive on the ice. She was so driven, and she's just so talented. So um, it doesn't surprise me that she's taken on this role and has done so much with the PWHPA already. She's, a very driven person, and she wants the best for women's hockey, and she's so passionate about it. And so we are fortunate to have her lead us, and I really see great things coming in the future. I mean, there's already been a lot of great things to begin with. So.
There certainly have. Last year, we saw a wonderful donation from Unifor, and that was just one of many. We saw Secret step in for the Secret Women's Showcase here in Toronto. So looking at the showcases like that, let's take a look at the games that you participated in now, because a lot of the Dream Gap Tour games last year sold out fairly full, if not completely. And that's so important for the women's game because, the motto within the PWPA, I mean, along with For the Game for Us All, is if you can see it, you can be it. So what does that mean to you to be hitting the ice and, you walk in, you see these seats full of people from young to old, and, what goes through your mind when you see that?
Well, I just think I mean, it's so great to see the support is the main thing, and having these little girls all, screaming and excited and having signs, and um because like you just said earlier, when you can see it, you can be it, and you can dream it, and so for these girls, like being able to see all these talented women hockey players go out there and inspire them, is so crucial and so important, and that's what we want. We want to be able to showcase women's hockey anywhere that we can, and to have these girls have access to watching us play is, so great for them to have female role models.
Absolutely. And when you look at, the state of women's hockey, it's really been unstable for a long time and trying to grow and develop the game. And it used to not be possible for kids to look up to their role models. So to that end, I'll ask you, as you grew up playing hockey, who did you look up to?
Yeah, so I it was definitely different back then when I played. I grew up playing guys hockey. My role model was Stevie Yzerman. He was my favorite player, and I grew up watching the Red Wings and the NHL play. Um, and I think, I mean, that was great, and for me, and I just think it's so crucial for girls nowadays to have these female role models, female hockey players to look up to, and inspire them to keep playing and keep dreaming big and wanting more. And I think it is good to see that the evolution of the game is it's evolving, and it's getting better. It's more there's more talent. That the level of hockey is so high right now in female hockey. So um, I think it is crucial to have this exposure for these girls, to have those role models, because I didn't have that when I was younger. And I think the first time I saw women's hockey was the 2002 Olympics, and that's what inspired me to want to play in the national team and win a gold medal for my country one day. So I think it is important for females to see other female athletes compete at a high level, and have those dreams and aspirations and inspire them.
Absolutely. And now you are a national team member. So let's move ahead to that because back in March, I believe it was, the Women's World Championships in Nova Scotia and Truro were unfortunately canceled as COVID-19 really first picked up. So, how does that kind of impact, I guess, not only progress, but the flow of a proper season that you guys did have and were fortunate to be able to finish, and then the big stage have that all of a sudden just kind of canceled? And does that throw things off? And what went through your mind at the time of that cancellation?
Yeah, I think it was unfortunate. I mean, there's just such a huge tournament, that's taking place. You train all year, and you have, there was so much moving forward with women's hockey, and I think we really did a great job showcasing the talent last year. And it was unfortunate for it to, cut short, but I mean, it happened for every league, every sport at the time, right? So it's something that we, every athlete had to go through and deal with. And Summer Olympics was canceled. I couldn't imagine that, training all year, and then not being able to compete at an Olympics is huge. So and I'm sure very disappointing. But there is obviously something that's happening right now to the world that needs to be taken care of. So it's just seeing the bigger picture, and trying to see the positives and see the light in what's happening, and hopefully the world gets to a better spot, and we're able to compete and see be in crowds again, and kind of get back to normal is really the hopes in the near future.
Yeah, it's certainly agree with that, and it's really nice to see these vaccines finally rolling out, and it
I
feels like
know.
this amazing sigh of relief. And it might be a while until us ordinary people and athletes get it, as the frontline workers and the elderly will be first. But just to kind of a weight off the shoulder to see it finally here. So here's hoping that comes relatively soon and the world gets back to normal. And speaking of normal, a normal Dream Out tour would be games in both Canada and the US, but it sounds like those games will only be in Canada. So let's take a look at some spots around Canada that you perhaps would like to visit this year that perhaps you didn't last year. What are your top destinations in mind
For like showcases,
for showcases this year, given the unique circumstances?
I absolutely love BC. So like anywhere in BC, I just generally think like we don't play enough in BC for girls to be able to see elite athletes. So um, maybe not Vancouver, Victoria, or somewhere around there would be nice. Calgary, just because it's close to home, and I feel like we haven't had anything there in a while. And I don't know. I think it's great to have smaller communities. I don't normally get to see women's hockey. I think is important to showcase them there. So any smaller community that would want women's hockey to be there, I think.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think back to last season, there was even a showcase in Orangeville, Ontario, which is a smaller part. So I was thinking maybe even Sudbury, your home. I thought that might be a cool spot hosting
Oh,
after.
well, yeah. Yeah, I should have said that first. No, we never come here. So so women's hockey, yeah, that's true. Sudbury should be number one, but
Bit of a distance, but totally worth it.
yeah, exactly. Just a little bit tough for everyone to come in here, but
yeah, so I think that'd be really great. So, that being said, let's get into some CWHL memories now. The last that you played in the CWHL, you won the Clarkson Cup against Lake Canadian de Montreal. Wow, was that a game to remember? So, you think back on these times and where you are now and where the game is going, and how do you think that, that success that the CWHL had before things fell apart can translate to whether that be, WNHL funded by the NHL or just, a separate entity if it has to do that from the NWHL. Do you have any success points in mind to ensure that there is a long-lasting, viable league, in the future?
I mean, I don't have all the answers, that's for sure, but I do know that I think the more exposure we get, the more touring we do, the more the bigger media platform and social media platform that we have, and the bigger reach, the audience and people having access to us. I think that's what we need, and that's what will help drive this new league eventually, hopefully. And because I do know that people enjoy watching women's hockey, and I've heard it so many times, like, oh, such great hockey, but it's hard to be able to see us play, and it's not on TV, and there's only women's hockey in 3 cities and in Canada with this league, so it is tough for people to be able to come watch us play. And so I think the access is really crucial and important for us to keep growing, and for us to be able to showcase the talent that we have.
Right, and we've already spoken about visibility a little bit, the being in person aspect, but obviously everything's gonna be done, virtually this year. There likely will be no fans at your Dream Gap Tour stops.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking about this last week and how things could even be even better from last year. And whereas the Dream Gap Tour was on the CBC Gem app, the ESPN mobile app, and Monumental Sports Network, which I assume was also on the app. So, one of the bigger things is when you look at the Clarkson Cup final, a game like that was on Sportsnet television. I think it's so important that, it's about time to get Dream Gap Tour series on Sportsnet, get it on the main TV where people can actually see it and, feel like they're a part of it rather than watching on mobile app. I think that for year one, the stream was fine, but there has to be a point where that visibility grows. And I think that, that's so important because you look at TSN, who has the rights along with RDS for national team games. Why not Sportsnet carry the PWHPA? So can you talk about, I guess, the significance of a TV deal, especially in a unique year like this?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it is crucial. It's a way that everyone, across Canada and North America can be able to watch us play, and I think it is so important because, again, we can't have fans this year, and to get that wide reach exposure is really important. And I know a lot of people still don't know where we play, and what our day to day is like, and where players go after college. And so I think just continue to educate everyone, and I think this is a way to get that exposure that we need. A TV deal would be really, really crucial for us, especially this year.
Looking at your coming up through hockey, what did that look like for you?
What?
Your come up in hockey, like was there a particular in your life in hockey, and then with school, what was your comp like?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Sudbury, Ontario, and I played guys growing up, and then switched over to girls in high school, and then I got a scholarship to Cornell University. I competed there for 4 years, which is in upstate New York, and it was the best 4 years of my life. I absolutely loved that school, and very proud to be a part of that alumni now. And so after that, I was training with the national team throughout before I went to university, and then throughout university, and so that's kind of my upbringing. Just been training for the national team now after college and playing the CWHL and PWHPA now.
So one other thing I'm going to mention, along with the skates that were happening, is that I know that Hockey Canada was hosting skates in Oakville somewhat recently, along with PWPA skates, just to keep players connected and going and start to prepare for hopefully tournaments this year. Again, they're probably going to be in a bubble, but I don't know if that's happening in Calgary too. So is that part of your routine when you're out there too?
There are skates like
For Hockey Canada, are they doing separate skates out there too?
yeah, we're trying to get yes, I think they're doing that for every group, Montreal as well and Calgary. Just we have separate skates in general, and then now that there are restrictions, it's been tough. We've been able to skate a little bit as a group, which has been nice. But so it's similar to Toronto.
All right. So the last thing I'm going to touch on, I've got about 3 minutes left. What's going to be different for this year's Dream Gap Tour going ahead is that there is a cup to be won at each game, as I understand, along with some financial prize winnings, as well as some Bottega Gold. So a lot of unique incentives, and this is certainly a unique year. So as you look at the overwhelming support, and there's also Canadian Tire who will be a sponsor for the tour. How does that speak volumes to just the efforts this year to really try and enhance the game beyond what was had last year?
Yeah, I think we continue to make strides and continue to push it further, and increase that the incentives of visibility, everything we talked about prior. But I think it is amazing for a time right now to still have improvements, and now we have prize money and all these incentives about playing and competing. I think it helps with the competition as well. I mean, you have a lot on the line, um, and I think it is a big step for sure. And I just believe that we're going to continue to improve and continue to see the PWHBA and how professional it is, and the steps forward for us for sure.
Anything that the fans can expect from the Calgary chapter going into this season?
Well, I think they could just expect good hockey, and for all the teams, I think are pretty strong. So yeah, it will be exciting, and I think there'll be that extra eagerness from everyone, because we just haven't played in so long. It would be so exciting to be able to step on the ice and play a game. So I think it will be really great hockey, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
And I look forward to, I'm gonna have to cover it virtually this year, but look forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll be watching it. Unique challenges are ahead, but here's hoping that you stay safe and get back on the ice soon. And that being said, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
Totally my pleasure. That's Rebecca Johnston from the national team and the Calgary chapter of the PWHPA. Rebecca, where can you be found on social media for fans to follow you?
Instagram and Twitter, I'm rjohnst6. So I think it's a little complicated, but
All right, so that's where you can find Rebecca Johnston, former member of the Calgary Inferno of the CWHL as well, Clarkson Cup winner over here. So that's it. That does it for this episode. My name is Justin Levine. Make sure you are following at PWHPA for updates on the Dream Gap Tour as we get ready for that whenever that happens, and for updates on everything with regards to tour dates, more sponsors, and all that. Follow myself at Justin Levine HBS, at Puck Authority 1, and at thepuckauthority.com. So that's Rebecca Johnston. I'm Justin Levine signing off.